containers. It's not a truck for every brand. And so I think, companies are pretty good at logistics. I look at our lives over the past 5 years since COVID, the massive amount of consumer products being delivered to our homes. If a law was required to take it back, that same skill at logistics could be used on returning, and currently is being used in bottle bill states.
Steve?
Yeah, I haven't researched this particular topic at all, but I made note that Gary Sondermeyer said that we have 6,000 supermarkets in New Jersey. It's an awful lot of stores that would have to potentially have a truck coming to them to pick up bottles and cans. So I don't know. It certainly would seem logical that you would be creating more air pollution by having more trucks on the road. But as Judith said, maybe there's some way they all figure it out. I'm not sure.
And Brooke?
Yeah, not to be a broken record. Devil's in the details. I'll use your phrase, Beth. There could be more pollution, but I think that points to another argument that is not necessarily about a bottle bill, but we need to electrify our fleets. If we're using clean vehicles, we're not adding any pollution. So I think we can't necessarily think about, I want to say that maybe we need to be more imaginative in the types of infrastructure we're talking about. So if we have clean fleets, we're not doing pollution, bottle bills are still working. There wouldn't be any other pollution there.
So the people joining this meeting should know these questions were given to panelists ahead of time, so they would have time to think about how they might answer them. I'd like to add one that was added to the chat this morning, which I had not thought of until I read it today. When we implemented the reusable bag law, it seems that people that were having home deliveries started collecting reusable bags to a high degree because the delivery service didn't take them back. Is this a potential problem with a bottle bill when it comes to home delivery? And I thought it was a very interesting question that maybe people on this panel might have thoughts about.
I don't think it's going to be a similar problem, and I'll explain why. But first of all, the New Jersey bag ban is extremely successful. However, companies like Instacart are charging consumers for so-called reusable bags and then not providing a mechanism for people to give it back. And I think the law needs to be changed to require home delivery companies to take the bags back if that's what the consumers want. With deposit laws, you're paying the deposit on the container. I'm not expecting the delivery company to take all the empty bottles and cans back. I think it's much easier to take the bag back. But you're paying the deposit at the store where the purchase was made. So unlike with bags, there's an infrastructure for the consumer. They would take their empty containers back to the store where it originated. And if there are some people who have mobility issues and they can never get to the store, I guarantee you what will happen is they put their empty containers out on the curb and someone will come and pick it up. And that happens all over New York City, not necessarily because of people with mobility problems, but because supermarkets in New York City have made it virtually impossible to return containers. And unfortunately, the New York DEC doesn't fully enforce the law in New York City. So the problem with what I just laid out is people with mobility issues would be forfeiting their deposits if a redeemer comes along and gets the deposit back for them. But I don't think that is a reason not to have a bottle bill and a deposit on everything that's delivered to people's homes.
We have 4 minutes more. If anybody from the PAC would like to ask a question, please just use the raise your hand button.
I see John Weber on camera, so I think he might be raising his hand.
Okay.
I am, and I guess, I don't know, the raise hand's not working. This is for Steve Rinaldi. Steve, I just want you to go over those numbers that you said again. Earlier in your testimony, you said 45,000. Wait, did you say, I thought you said 45 tons of aluminum was recycled, or was it
No, no.
45,000 tons?
45,000 tons of aluminum cans, 196,000 tons of glass containers, and 101,000 tons of plastic containers. And this
Okay.
is data right out of the DEP's tonnage grant program.
Terrific. And it sounds impressive, but it's the whole state of New Jersey. But just somebody in the chat said, our MRF, they must operate a MRF, and they said sent 4,000 tons of PET to get recycled throughout the United States and Canada. So it's like, again, I'm having problems with numbers, and what, again, 101,000 tons sounds impressive. One person from one MRF sending 4,000 tons. And that we heard there's 60 of these in New Jersey. It just
Yeah.
sounds like I don't know, like the numbers maybe aren't all adding up.
There's 23 of these processing centers. People call them MRFs, they call them intermediate processing facilities. So we have 23 of them, and those are the ones that I was saying that have put in $15-20 million into these facilities. And the numbers that I use are from the DEP's most recent data. So that's that's the best data we have in New Jersey. So
Okay, thanks.
Does anybody else on the PAC have questions for this panel?
I don't see any other hands up, Beth.
All right, it's 12:28. We are going to take a very fast half-hour lunch break, and we will come back at 1 o'clock with the fourth panel, which will be business perspectives on the bottle bill.
Very good. See you then. Thanks, Beth. You're doing a great job.
Oh, Janine, thanks for jumping in.
Amen, Beth. You're amazing. It's Cindy.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Beth.
Oh, Christina, that's because you're a great co-pilot.
Well, I'm just here quietly in the background.
All doing great.
All right, I gotta go
Thanks,
get my
everyone.
son, and I will be back.
All right, see you in half an hour.
Bye, everybody.
Beth, I'm a participant. Can I ask a question, please?
I think Beth's off. Who's this? Who's asked? Oh, Beth.
Mark Savastano from Allendale. The last gentleman that was speaking, he is showing up, unfortunately, with my name under his picture. So I wanted to confirm, was it John Webb? Was that his name?
Yeah, it's
John?
John Weber. I'm still here, Janine. I'm sorry. And I know if you could leave the meeting and come back into the meeting, that should resolve the issue. Sorry to interrupt, Janine.
Okay, so his name is John Weber,
Yes.
and he is from the state. What is his position?
He's a councilman in Bradley Beach.
Oh, okay.
And he's also on the PAC.
That too.
Okay. Okay.
Is Cindy still on?
I don't know, but I'm going to answer somebody's question before I walk away because they asked if they would be able to get back in the meeting.
That's the plan.
Why did my recording stop?